There is a concept of conflict of interest. Now, how does it work? See, whenever it is about giving a judgment or let's say giving a contract of a particular project, what happens is the deciding authority who is going to offer or give the contract, if this deciding authority realizes that there are various bids that has come in and some of the people who have bidded for the project are related in one way or the other to the person or the persons who are going to offer that contract. For example, if I am the one who decides who gets the contract and my brother or sister or anyone from the family has also bid for the project, it creates a conflict of interest. Now, in such a situation, I should recuse myself from the duty. Now, recusing is not the first step. I should let the authorities know that this conflict of interest has arisen, subsequent to which the authority may recuse me from deciding who wins the contract and may give this responsibility to someone else so that conflict of interest does not arise. However, is that being followed or not? That is what is going to be discussed in this video. And here the allegations are not for any small or mid-level officer or bureaucrat, but directly on the Chief Minister of Arunachal Pradesh. Yes, that is what it is all about. In today's video, we will be discussing the direction that the Supreme Court has given to the CBI, that is Central Bureau of Investigation, to probe the allegations of such conflict of interest on the Arunachal Pradesh CM, Mr. Pema Khandu, and of course his family who got this project. So let us get started with respect to this video. So what is the news all about? The news is about Supreme Court directing the Central Bureau of Investigation to probe this. Probe what? There are allegations that the Arunachal Pradesh government has, in a biased manner. Of course, there will be bias because here the family of the direct chief minister is getting so huge projects. So there can be an inherent bias, of course, but not necessarily it could have happened. It could have happened that the projects are given on a biased manner, but it can have some merit as well. So whether it was given on merit or on biasness or not, all these things are directed by the Supreme Court to the CBI to probe in this matter. So the case is with respect to the contracts worth over 1200 crores. Right. Now, what's the background of this case? Now, this basically there is a petition that is filed for this particular case by an NGO, Voluntary Arunachal Sena. Sena means army, and Save Mon Region Federation. Right. Now, can you as an NGO file it? Why is an NGO filing it? See, of course, who all could have filed it? See, the companies or other people who might have bidded but not got the project could have also filed it, or the NGO for the interest of the people at large can also do it. So here it is the NGO that has done it. This is the bench that heard the case of the case, and the bench consists of Justice Vikram Nath, Justice Sandeep Mehta. This is not important for you to remember for prelims or even for mains. Right, what are the key allegations over here? As I mentioned in the beginning, the issue of conflict of interest in awarding the government project, which smells of nepotism. Nepotism means providing the things to your family, friends, relatives, etc. We talk about nepotism being there in Bollywood, for example, in Tollywood, even in judiciary, it is alleged that there is nepotism. So here we are talking about the same nepotism over here. At the same time, there was lack of transparency in procurement, which bypassed the open tendering system. What is an open tendering system? A tender is given which is open for anyone to bid. Anyone in the sense that, of course, there will be certain criteria which you have to fulfill. If you fulfill that, then it's open for anyone and everyone. That is an open contract or open bidding system. However, that they say did not happen. So as a result of which, corruption and favoritism in the public works is what is alleged over here. The Supreme Court's direction to CBI is what? To start preliminary inquiry within 2 weeks. So even the timelines are mentioned over here, and submit the status report within 16 weeks. So within half a month start the inquiry, and within 4 months submit the preliminary report. Inquiry would be done in all the public works or contracts starting right from 2015 up till 2025. Right? So it is basically a decade worth project that is going to be investigated. Now, the inquiry is only for fact finding and not judgment on guilt. Why is that the case? Because the judgment of guilt will be given by the Supreme Court, not by the CBI. Here, CBI is asked only to find out the facts and present it in front of the court. Now, what is the scope and basically the scope of the investigation by the CBI? So first is procurement process and tendering process. This is what they have to investigate. Then what was the reason for dispensing with open tenders? As it is alleged that open tenders did not happen, so there needs to be a genuine reasoning as to why the open tender did not happen. That reason is important. Then compliance with statutory requirements. What other statutory requirements are there for giving a project or basically approving a tender? That also needs to be detailed. Then flow of funds and payments. Where did the fund come from? To whom did it go? And payments, how it was done, so on and so forth. Availability and custody of the records, and any cognizable offense that was done during the entire process will be investigated by the CBI. Now, here in this specific case, CBI is also allowed to examine transactions beyond 2015-2025. Now, why is that the case? Because just before that, just after that, also the transactions can take place. The purpose of this expansion of the scope is to trace the beneficial ownership, who finally got benefited, identify related party linkages. There might be certain other parties who might be linked, and track the fund flows and the financial trails that are there for the money. Right? There has been direction to the state government also. So the Arunachal Pradesh government must provide full cooperation to the Central Bureau of Investigation in this matter, because the documentation etc. would be there with the Ministry of the Arunachal Pradesh government. So unless and until they provide those details, CBI cannot investigate, verify and find out the facts, as a result of which this government of Arunachal Pradesh is asked to provide full cooperation to CBI and submit the records within 4 weeks. So within 4 weeks of time, all the records required needs to be submitted. Now the mandatory document that needs to be submitted here are the tenders, the approvals, the contracts, the bills, the vouchers, etc. All the documents basically linked to the contracts. E-procurement and payment data is also required, because many things are done online these days. All that is also needed over here. And also to appoint nodal officers for coordination. Nodal officers for coordination is sort of point of contact. Right? There needs to be a point of contact, because the government of Arunachal Pradesh is a big government, has multiple ministries, ministers and bureaucrats, officials as well. So to whom should the CBI reach out in order to ask for the data, get the data, and then come back again if there is any need? So for all of that, there needs to be certain point of contacts. There can be, at times there can be SPOC. SPOC means single point of contact, but there can be multiple also point of contacts. So here in this case, nodal officers as and how are required. So these will act as the point of contact for the CBI. Now the time limit is 16 weeks for giving the preliminary report. Now, this will clarify whether the projects were given out of biasness or based on merit itself, subsequent to which, remember, the CBI is not going to take any decision. It is going to be the Supreme Court that will decide. And of course, after preliminary report, the decision would not be final, because preliminary report will be there, after which further more changes, etc., or addition would come, and based on the final report is when the Supreme Court would generally give the judgment on the case. Thank you.